Tom Cannon, Cannon. Bang, bang, bang. Let's talk about Tom Cannon. What's he good at? What's he bad at? What's he mediocre at? We've all got things, of course, like that. And it's not really for me to pull them apart because, I'm bad at lots of things. But what I'm going to do is look at some statistics, some opinion that I've gathered from other people and try and generally just put it together and see if it all makes sense.
Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale.
Thomas Christopher Cannon. I don't know if we're going to call him Tom or Thomas. It seems several websites call him Thomas and several commentators call him Tom. He's 22. His next birthday will be on the 28th of December. It's too close to Christmas. He is 5'11" tall and he was born in Aintree. But even though that is in England, he represents the Republic of Ireland. The most important thing about Aintree, and I said this last time we did any kind of video about him, will he be at the races? He is quite fast, not lightning pace, but he's got pace. So he's declared his international allegiance to a different nation, the Republic of Ireland, rather than England, the place of his birth, and he has 2 full caps, which he got against Finland and Portugal. The reason I mention that is you do have to take those kind of things into account when international breaks come up. Is your player going to be training with the team, or is he going to be going away on international football and increasing the likelihood either of injury there or injury later down the line from playing more and more games or having more and more travel? I'm sure we can all think of examples of that. Cannon is a right-footed forward. He is a product of the Everton youth setup. Everton famously have actually produced a lot of talent over the years. Hopefully he's another in that conveyor belt. He signed with the club at the age of just 10, an Evertonian himself, and on the 10th of January 2023, he joined Preston North End, of course a championship club, of course probably finishing 12th. And he was on loan until the end of the season, in that season, so joining in the January transfer window, and he made his championship debut 4 days later in a 4-0 loss. I didn't get a chance to score against Norwich City. On the 25th of February, he scored his first goal for the club in a 2-1 win against Wigan. Again, this is back in 2023. And in total for North End, he played 21 times and he scored 8 goals. Also in 2023, the 1st of September, he joined Championship Club, then Championship Club, Leicester City on a 5-year deal, a 5-year Foxes contract. And on the 1st of January 2024, he scored his first and then his second goal for the club, netting twice in a 4-1 home win over Huddersfield Town. So far, it's been an okay time at Leicester City, but nothing extravagant. 16 appearances, 3 goals. He needs meaningful minutes, and so he got them when he was sent out on loan to Stoke City this season. But one thing I want to highlight, whilst he hasn't had too many injuries, he did sustain a back injury back in 2023, which kept him out for 50 days, and we hope we never see a recurrence of that. Now, I mentioned he's a striker, but in his career, he has actually played on the wing. He can play out wide, and that is quite useful, I suppose, for the system that Sheffield United currently implements. So if we look at his career before this season, including youth football, we've got Everton under 21s, 55 appearances, 22 goals, 5 assists. That is fantastic. For the under 18s, it's even better. He scored 29 times in 42, got 9 assists. He's not big on assists. For Preston, already mentioned, 21, 8 goals, 1 assist. Leicester, 16 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists. And for the Everton first team, he did play 4 times. Now, he's played as a centre-forward, 92 times a left winger. He's played 4 times, but he did score twice when playing there. He's played as a number 10, just off as a second striker as well. Now, that is, again, before this season, those stats. And those stats smell like goals, but he's been out on loan at Stoke this season. And the reason I've kept these stats separate is we're going to have a bit more of a deep dive on the Stoke stuff. Playing 25 times and bagging 11. That's in all competitions for the Potters, but 9 in the league in 22 games. Now, you see, Preston, it was 21 and 8. There is a pattern here that you will notice and hopefully doesn't continue to form because I actually want to see a little bit more from Tom. It's worth looking beyond the goals, though, and actually crunching the XG, as he has scored in the league 9 from an XG of 9. So he scored the goals he should have scored. Does that make him a top striker? Does that make him an average striker? Yes, to the latter. You could argue he's actually doing his job. He's not statistically doing above and beyond, but he's doing his job. And you could also argue Sheffield United need a striker that will take those average chances. Ben from 𝗤𝗿𝗲𝗶𝗹𝗹 wrote on the S2 forum, I'm not seeing much to excite me. Just seems like a slightly worse version of 𝗤𝗄𝗎. His stats so far this season have been pretty below average versus other forwards in almost every category apart from shots, and most of those are from poor positions. He's 101st in the Championship for expected goals per 90 minutes if you remove penalties and some physical stuff. Okay, that's the quote I chose there. Interesting, though, I will just add, he does take penalties. That's always quite useful, especially if you've got a striker that misses penalties. Jake Staniland from 𝐿𝑓UnitedWay.co.uk wrote, while Cannon is a very good finisher for this level and has potential to get even better, he is, in fact, according to this graphic published on Twitter back in December, consistently firing shots towards the corner of the goal from open play. You can also see 𝗤𝗄𝗎 on the list. While he regularly registers his shots into the corner, he rarely shoots from open play. Like most strikers, he relies on chances, this is Tom Cannon, being created for him. And right now, the Blades have largely shown inconsistencies in this department. That's true of the whole season. Thank you for that quote, Jake. So this is a striker that needs someone else to create the chances for him, and the likelihood is he's not going to be missing lots of chances. He's going to take a chance if you give him a chance, but you've got to give him a chance. He's not going to take on three men and dribble it into the box. That's not his game. So, for a while, Sheffield United have needed a striker that's a bit like that. I remember when we signed John Stead. I'm not going as far back as this, but I remember in his first interview, he said he's a striker that will drop deep and do a lot of work for the team. And I remember Keith Edwards, a fox in the box, saying that's exactly what we don't need. Now, John Stead actually turned out to be a very good striker for us, but he didn't score loads of goals. And then we had to wait a little time before James Beattie, who is a striker. I want Tom Cannon to be a striker that will be someone in the box. When that ball's coming into the box, he's going to be there. He's not dropping deep looking to get involved. And I think that's what you get with Tom Cannon. Now, he's only registered 1 assist this season, so a striker's striker. This is encouraging in terms of he's not bothered about helping anyone else. He sees goal, he's going to go for it. Again, what we need. He's also picked up 3 yellow cards. That's from 1,860 minutes of football played. In his entire Championship career, games, goals and assists, 55 games, 19 goals, 3 assists. It's not bad numbers. Let's look at his player traits. This is courtesy of FOTMobs. This is not Hal's opinion. Now, the player trait chart, if you're not familiar with it, it highlights a player's statistical strengths and weaknesses in comparison to similar players. Each stat is adjusted on a per 90 basis and includes matches from the past 365 days. Players are then compared to positional peers from similar leagues and placed into a percentile ranking. For example, a player with 90% percentile ranking on chances created means that they create more chances than 90% of players in that position in similar leagues. So, knowing that as we do, stats compared to other forwards: touches 8%, shot attempts 76%, goals 62%, chances created 18%, aerial duels won 65%, defensive actions just 47%. There's definitely room for improvement in the forward areas as well as the defensive attributes, but maybe that isn't that important. He has been playing in a Stoke City team that don't create much and haven't always been that beautiful on the eye. I think even Stoke fans will say that's probably fair, forever. So worth taking all that into consideration. He has a shot accuracy of 55%. He's had 56 shots this season. 31 of them have been on target. This season, when it comes to shot creating actions, Cannon is in the 34th percentile. 𝗤𝗄𝗎 is in the 54th percentile. 1.55 for Cannon, 1.18 per 90 for 𝗤𝗄𝗎. Tom Cannon has attempted 13.28 passes per 90, putting him in the 37th percentile. 𝗤𝗄𝗎, 18.42 passes per 90, putting him in the 63rd percentile. 𝗤𝗄𝗎 also, rather than me getting into the numbers, I'll just tell you, has had more touches, has had more successful take-ons, and has won more aerial duels. Again, Sheffield United, better team than Stoke, so you would hope that the stats would reflect that. And I'm pretty sure that is why 𝗤𝗄𝗎 has slightly inflated stats in some, admittedly, key areas. But Tom scored more goals. And again, that is what you need from a striker. I mean, looking over Tom's entire career, it's fair to say he would, I think, cite his strengths, most likely as his finishing. I think in a team that creates lots of chances, he would score goals. He's got a hunger. He's got a determination. That's not my opinion. This never say die attitude I have heard repeatedly as several fans who've seen him live have told me. I've also been told, particularly by Stoke fans, he's not slow. He's no slouch. That surprised them. He's also got good composure and a decent jumping reach. I do think if Sheffield United can create a lot of chances for him, I think 𝗍𝗲𝗲 being 𝗍𝗲𝗲, that will happen. I do think he will score goals. Let me know what you think of Tom Cannon in the comments.
𝗚𝗿𝗲𝗲𝗵𝗏